Welcome to our program, Coach-to-Coach. Today's guest is Brian Barley. Brian's the founder and accredited life coach at Becoming Better Life Coaching. Brian founded Becoming Better to help people break free from limiting beliefs, build lasting confidence, and create a life they're proud of. Thank you for joining us today, Brian. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you very much, Greg. Glad to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure. So the way I like to start these is to ask what first sparked your interest in coaching?
So it was quite a strange little journey into coaching. It started just before I had my children. I've got twin boys. They're
Mm,
13 now. So when we found out we was pregnant, um, it kind of flipped my world upside down. I didn't have a very strong upbringing. It was quite volatile
mm,
and for various reasons. And I didn't, the reason why my bio says what it does is because I was full of limiting beliefs. I had a massive lack of confidence and just didn't know what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to go about doing it. So when my boys were on the cards and they were due, things started changing, and I started thinking about how I was going to be the father for them that I needed to be, and what I needed to change in my life and my world to to do that for them.
mm,
Um, so I started reading some books. My main thing at the time was around money. I was like really aware that I'm going to have to do better than I was doing
right.
to provide more, to provide the life for them that I wish I had, but also knew that they were going to deserve. So I started reading books such as Think and Grow Rich,
Mm,
The Richest Man in Babylon, and other sort of self-help books like that. And I soon swayed away from the money side of it into the actual mindset and the beliefs of sort of improvement and development and the sort of attitudes that were available to have if you started to learn more about them and you could adopt these things. And then from there, it pushed me into podcasts, into further reading and coaching. I started following a certain podcast around mindset, and I rinsed all of his content, which
mm,
was several hundreds of episodes. And on the sort of a few years in, on the end of one of his episodes, he mentioned that he does coaching. And I was like, what's that?
mm.
I'd never heard about that before. As I got on, I sort of understood the concept and I'd heard it in the corporate world a little bit,
Yeah,
but not for normal people.
yeah.
So I looked into it and started reading about that. So that introduced me to a bit more around psychology, around our habits, around our limiting beliefs, and um, sort of biases that we have, and all of this sort of thing, values and everything. And it just opened up this world that I was just amazed by.
Mm,
I was just like, are you telling me that I can go from where I am now, how I feel, where feel the world stacked against me and all of this lot to a point where I could step out into that world with confidence, with a purpose, and I could become an example for my boys that I looked for when I was young.
mm,
Um, and I sort of, a fair few years passed of venturing down that and undoing my doings. I went to try and get therapy, and that didn't work out. It just didn't work out. The therapist got quite upset
mm,
when I sat and told her my story. And I thought, well, that's probably not the right way round, to be honest. So I came out of that thinking, right, okay, I have definitely got to do all of this myself.
mm,
Um, I was I was depressed. I was full of anxiety and all of these things, but incrementally through different reading and different learning and breaking habits and just rewiring, like I came out of all of that and got to a place where I actually felt really good, really positive. Um, Searched on the internet for life coaching training. I found an online platform that had a beginner to intermediate life coaching course for £12.
mm,
It was on offer that day, down from about £80. to £12. I thought, oh, let's have a look at that. We'll give it a go. So I did that. I think it was about 2 months worth of online videos, learning, reflecting, workbooks, all of that sort of thing. And I got to the end of that and I thought, do I feel like I could work with people? No, no, I don't. Credibility was a big thing for me.
Right.
So I started then having a look at what else was around. Um, Realized that it was quite an unregulated industry, but there were some um, big players sort of in the governing bodies with the ICF, the AC, and people like that. So I found a diploma from a provider not too far away from myself who was it was an accredited course by the
Mm.
AC, Association for Coaching. So I completed that, and actually pretty much to the day I've completed that a year ago
Mm. Good for you.
today. So yeah, that was my how I discovered it and
Yeah.
then was drawn in
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. You didn't use this word, I don't think, but what I was imagining was this remarkable journey of insights from the first insight
Uh,
of learning that you're about to be a dad and what that's going to mean for you and your boys to these gentle nudges along the way,
yeah,
charting your course. So that's amazing.
yeah, it's a good way to see it, Greg. That's how it felt. Yeah, a nudge into it and then just to keep going.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah. Well, I know many people with twins. So, and my brother has a twin boy and girl. They're 8 now, and so I kind of know secondhand what a handful twins can be.
Oh
So,
yes.
and
Yeah, they
twin
are a
boys.
pleasure though.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Well, my kids now are 24. Oh, sorry, 22 and 20, and my daughter's about to finish university and move
Wow.
back home. So my wife and I were just talking the other day about what our empty nester days are. About 3 weeks left being empty nesters, and then she'll be back home, which will be wonderful in some ways and terrible in other ways. But
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I think I look ahead to those days and I'm like, well, if they go to university, can I move somewhere near their
yeah,
university so they could still stay at home? But there is the sort of exciting bit of, oh, then we'll be just grown-ups in
yeah,
our house without that responsibility for a little while.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. All the stages are fun and different. I'm
mm,
really curious about your practice. You mentioned almost a year to the day that you completed that course. So I'm curious, what has the last year been like for you in terms of coaching people? Have you figured out, a niche or what types of things you like to help people with? I know in your bio that I read out it was around limiting beliefs and confidence and things. But I'd love
yeah,
to know about that.
so it's been a bit of a strange one because I joined and entered coaching into my um algorithms, shall we say, at the
Mm,
point when it was exploding with a lot of online coaches who want to sell coaching to coaches and they can build your business here. They
mm,
can seven figures this, 10 grand months and things like that. And I was bombarded by a heck of a lot of that right at the beginning about ways to market, ways to um, just to be honest, ways that didn't feel right to me.
yeah.
It was all about sales and manipulation and things like that, and that wasn't why I wanted to be a coach.
Mm,
So, and niche wise, I've done quite a few different exercises to try and narrow down to a niche, but again, that didn't really feel right
mm,
yet either because I hadn't coached anybody at the time where I was looking into that. So, how did I know?
yeah.
I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know who I can connect with and things like that. But over the past year, I've worked with, I believe it's 11 people now. Some are ongoing and some just came in and out. And what I'm finding is that they do seem to have a theme of kind of stuckness, not knowing they're at this juncture in life and they want to know and sort of investigate
Mm,
where to go next. Um, and excuse me, and that's come with lots of different things. You know, even though that's a sort of a topic, people are coming at it from all sorts of different ways. So what I'm trying to do, rather than limit who it is that I'm going to help, I want as much experience as I can get. I don't think that I've had enough experience yet to niche down.
yeah,
What I do think is that I would like to work with people like I felt sort of 10, 13 years ago,
mm,
because it's an experience that I've been through, I've lived it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. The whole niche thing's interesting to me because, um, I mean, I have multiple niches, but I think of the niche as useful in terms of marketing and communicating because it's helpful to know to craft your messages to a specific person or issue.
Yeah.
But I, at the same time, I'm totally not okay with being handcuffed to you can only work with that group of people now. It's like, um, and I might wake up tomorrow and want to work with somebody completely different. That's I love that when you just follow your nose kind of approach to it and see what you mentioned earlier early in your life about I don't know if you use these exact words, but the theme of it was the world was against you kind of feeling.
Mm,
And the way I feel in my coaching anyway is the world has my back. The world, the world is sending me the people that it thinks I can help. So if they don't check a box on a niche list or something, that's really not my concern. It's just, people have shown up in my world for some reason. I'm going to do what I can to serve them. So,
yeah, yeah, that's it. And I'm quite fortunate as well because I do have a day job
mm,
as well. So what I realized quite early on when I was getting all of this outside bombardment about you should do it this way, you should do it that way, I was like, well, I'm not in a rush.
mm,
I'm fortunate that I don't need to hit the ground running to pay the bills with this. I can build it up in my authentic way
yeah,
and just, yeah, do it so that it's not a rush, it's not pressured, it all happens nice and naturally.
yeah,
And it's taken a little bit of time, but over the last few months, it's starting to pick up. Um, I need to I want to improve my output, so content, advertising,
mm,
marketing, things like that. That's the next step to work on.
yeah.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
curious. You
but
you
it's
mentioned your day job. What have you noticed in terms of the way you show up in your day job now that's different than it used to be?
yeah, it's so different. I find so in my day job, actually because I've done the coaching training, I'm being helped and guided into leadership at
Mm,
work as well. So the two paths have collided anyway and are working really well together.
yeah,
And the coaching side of my life is gonna help immensely. And I'm showing up differently with my colleagues. The conversations are different. So I treat every opportunity. I don't sort of overtly coach people because sort of that has to be an agreement, you
yeah,
know. But I'm certainly approaching things with more curiosity and more wonder. And
yeah,
so, yeah, just trying to have more sort of conversations that go somewhere
mm,
rather than just your surface level
yeah.
um, kind of things, just building them relationships with my colleagues.
Mm. I love those two words, curiosity and wonder.
Mm,
I know for me, before I got into coach, I mean, I had leadership jobs and things in the corporate world, but I don't think I spent a lot of time in curiosity and wonder, uh,
mm,
which is where I spend most of my time now. So it's amazing. And the other thing I noticed in my own life, although my wife and kids would say I still need lots of improvement with them, is better listening. I just
yeah,
hear people way different, way less judgment. Um, yeah, it's I love how you're seeing, what you're learning and experiencing coaching trickle into the other aspects of your life. That's great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm someone in the past that there's I've forgotten the guy's name now, but there was a TED talk and a book and things called The Advice Monster.
Mm,
I don't know if you've heard of it.
no.
Um, and it's something that I've in the past fell into quite easily. I've experienced quite a lot of things and often felt like if people had a question, I would jump to give the answer and give the advice and do a bit of telling, if you
Mm,
like. And what my coaching has taught me is that that's not always helpful. And that doesn't often answer somebody's question. But when you go in with curiosity and wonder and ask and listen
mm,
well, then it's a whole different conversation. It's a whole different experience.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, that's a great
yeah.
observation. That it's funny you say that because I know I do a lot of reach out to my LinkedIn connections, so people that I used to work with in my corporate life, and I'd say almost all the time their idea of what coaching is they think it's the advice business. So
Mm,
often they want to know, well, what type of coaching do you do? Which is another way of saying what kind of advice do you give? and
yeah.
and I always say, no, I don't give advice. I'm in the insight business.
Mm,
I help you reflect and explore and help you get insights for yourself that will help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve. It's more of a guide job than a education or advice job. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. One of the most sort of pressure alleviating phrases that I heard to do with it is that your coachee is the expert
Mm,
because it's about them.
yeah.
And that was like, oh, okay. So this isn't something there are skills I need to gain, but I don't have to have the answers. That's exactly
Yeah.
not the point.
Yeah.
Which was quite freeing.
Yeah.
And then,
Definitely.
it allows you to then ask those questions
Yeah. Well,
and
it's
be able
funny.
to,
Earlier, you mentioned about coaching people that have been through a similar life story that you had. And what I found for myself is I like coaching people like that because I can relate to what they've been through. But at the same time, I get tripped up more in those situations than if somebody's talking to me about something I have absolutely no reference point for, because I'm more
yes.
authentically listening to them versus searching my own story for what they should or shouldn't do, kind of thing. So yeah, it's
Yeah, 100%. My coach trainer put it really well about putting your own map of the world away.
mm, yeah,
And that is, yeah, it's when you start to you relate to what people are saying, and then you want to, out of politeness and connection, you want to then, oh, my experience of
yeah,
this was this. And it's like, whoa, but it might have been exactly the same thing. It could have been on the same day,
yeah,
but you're looking at it from two different perspectives.
yeah,
So it's worlds apart. So
yeah,
put your map of the world away
yeah.
and be curious.
I love that metaphor.
Mm.
Very helpful. I'm curious if you have an example you can share either for yourself or for one of your clients about how coaching impacted them or changed their life, kind of thing. Something that a story that
Um,
people could relate to.
so there's a lady that I'm working with at the minute that I have done all the way through since I started my training. She's stuck with me while I was getting my hours in
Mm,
for my training, for my accreditation, and then when I then turned it into a service. And we've worked together now, yeah, for nearly 2 years now. Um, and I won't go into specifics, but what I do and what I love, what I think is sort of for me, is the magic of it all, is just those different perspectives that you can help people to have where um, just that it's not about being right at all, but where, oh, I haven't thought about it like that.
mm,
And then you watch them then go on that little journey in their mind of exploring what that means, and then coming back and being like, yeah, that. that was powerful. And it's like, well, inside you're like, oh yeah, you sort of
Yeah.
woohoo.
Yeah.
But it's they've done the work. You've just offered a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Um, and to the point where this lady that I'm working with, we've gone from one situation that was an experience of stuckness and unhappiness to we're not all the way through, but we're in a place of possibility
Mm.
and a place of just a change of place, I guess, really. Um, and a few sort of three or four of the clients that I've worked with have been about creating a life plan
Mm.
and like I want a 5 year plan. I'm here now and I want to be here in 5 years. And that's fine. We can do that. We can work out where the steps are, what we're going to do to get there. We're going to be accountable. We're going to do all of the things. But if we get there, how do we know it's going to be the right place that
Mm.
you, if, is there anything we can do where we are so that we know that the destination we're going to will be the one that you want to get to?
Mm.
Because maybe at some point where they are now is where they thought they wanted to be,
Yeah.
but they're carrying the same bags with them. So we need to get into those bags and have a look, if you like,
Yeah.
for and start just checking that we're taking the right things along with us,
Yeah.
values, beliefs, expectations, all of that sort of thing. And perhaps we can lighten the load
Yeah.
for when we
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. What's funny, you mentioned earlier, early in your journey, you read Think and Grow Rich.
Mm,
I've just recently been reading that book for the first time, and the way I'm relating to it is because a lot of the coaching training I've done is in the three principles kind of genre of coaching, and just the idea of in that Think and Grow Rich, it's about having a vision, like what is it that you want to create, what kind of life do you want to be living. But then the key is to all the feelings and all the peace, joy, love, and happiness that you think is at the end of that rainbow. You can start living that way now
yeah,
without that stuff. And in fact, living that way now is what's going to get you to kind of that end result that you want. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely, Greg. I think that a lot of the time that we can pin future happiness on a future time that we're going to get it's another destination thing, isn't it?
yeah,
I'll be happy when everything
yeah,
will be right when, and we pin it on these external things
yeah,
when, yeah, like you say, we can sit where we are now and work on the internal things that produce that produce that now.
yeah,
And then, yeah, we might want to go a different way then once we understand that.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But it's a great book. It's a great book.
Yeah,
I've started rereading it
yeah.
recently.
It's like almost 100 years old, which kind of
It is,
is
yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still got the wisdom.
yeah, yeah. I guess yeah. Wisdom ages well, I guess is the way I'd look at that.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, I'm just here before I move to the next to last question. I'm just wondering if there's any other examples that you'd like to share, and no is a perfectly acceptable answer. Um,
So, well, part of your question was around sort of how has it helped me,
yeah.
which for me is the most poignant one of it all. And it's not just from my training and from my own understanding, but now that I'm part of networks like the Sheffield Coaching Exchange, I'm meeting other coaches, and naturally the conversations we have are like it's like a coaching tennis match,
Mm.
but in a really, in a really kind way. And I've made some good friends where I have a habit when talking about myself where I'll be sometimes a little hard on myself, sometimes, all of the things that we all suffer from at times. And coaching that I've received from other people um, has just helped me to just question my own outlook. Still, it's not we don't I don't think fixed is a thing that I'm heading for as such. It's we're perfectly imperfect, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We're
but to
still
manage
human.
my own, yeah, exactly, exactly. And sometimes it's nice to have my own experiences reflected back to me.
Mm,
Well, I say sometimes it's always nice to have things
yeah,
reflected back to me. Um, and yeah, I think from what I said at the beginning with the podcasts and whatnot that I was listening to, that was indirectly coaching me and teaching me what it was
yeah.
and all of these ways of looking at things. Um, so it's hard to pick an exact point,
Mm,
but in fact, no, one of the biggest things in coaching that the biggest insights that I had was around limiting beliefs, actually. And the it was mentioned to me that so your limiting beliefs are not we as we know they're formed throughout our early life from influences like parents, teachers, people around us. And it's I always thought that was me
mm,
telling myself that I wasn't good at something. I couldn't do this. I'm not this. I'm not capable of this, that, and the other. But it was introduced to me that so that voice is happening, but who's listening to it?
mm,
Who's hearing it? Who's the observer of that voice? I was like, well, I am.
mm,
Oh, okay, so whose voice is it then? It's like, oh, that's not my voice.
mm.
Oh, that's not my voice. And that then allowed me to question it and to start picking those things apart and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um, and that has probably been the biggest thing that coaching's impacted me on
yeah,
because then it's introduced me to self-awareness and self-questioning, self-inquiry, I think they
yeah,
call it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I love that.
and
I
yeah,
first heard about that through, I think it was Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. He calls it the inner roommate,
oh,
and he
nice.
did a whole chapter about how the inner roommate will argue both sides of every argument, um, and
Yeah,
change its opinion on a dime, kind of thing. Anyway, it's yeah, it's a great realization that you are not your that voice in your head. You're the one that hears it.
yeah. What was the book? Sorry, Untethered
The
Soul.
Untethered Soul, yeah, Michael Singer. And
Write
myself
that
and
down.
two other coaches, and then we had a few guests on. We did a whole YouTube series reviewing that book
Oh wow.
a year or two ago. Yeah, and I highly recommend that book. It's an amazing book.
Yeah. Are your YouTube videos still up about that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
I'll
I'll
get the
shoot you
book,
the link
read
for
it,
it.
and then I'll check it out.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because we've done a number of those programs, and it's I mean we've gotten comments from people, they enjoy watching them and they get something from them. But for us that are doing them, it's just it helps us uh, reflect on the book, and I find the it's kind of like multiple encoding, right? Like you can read
Mm,
something, but then if you speak about it, and then if you reflect on it and have a discussion about it, it just your knowledge and awareness and insight just magnifies exponentially than if you just
yeah.
read a book and put it back on the shelf. So
Yeah, yeah. I suppose, yeah, sometimes when you start reading a book, it becomes a mission to finish the book so you can get onto the next one.
yeah,
So, yeah, having that, yeah, I like that.
yeah. Well, the thing that got me into this whole realm probably in 2000 or 2001 was Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That was kind of my first
Yes.
self-development book, and I that was kind of my Bible for 20 years. And I kind of put it down and found other stuff through coaching. Then I've gone back to it since, and now I see the whole thing through kind of a three principles lens. I think a lot of these
Yeah.
books are they're all talking about the same stuff and pointing to the same
Yeah.
thing. They just use different language and metaphors to explain it.
Yeah, that's it. Again, though, it's different perspective on the thing, isn't it? So, yeah, it just
Yeah,
embeds it.
yeah, absolutely. I don't know if that sharing your that experience answers this question already, but I'll throw the question out there anyway. If there's one thing you'd want people to take away from this conversation, what would that one thing be?
Hmm. So there's a phrase that people use these days that really gripes me, and I've changed it a little bit. So people say it is what it is,
Mm,
as though we're supposed to just accept it. But I think it is what it is until it isn't.
mm,
And for me, there's we don't have to accept if we're not fulfilled, if we're not happy, if we're not where we want to be, if we are stuck, we don't have to be.
mm,
It's not always, there are sometimes factors that play into it, but there's no reason to give up. There's always a way to change. There's a brighter day.
mm,
I was reflecting last week actually, where I was thinking about where I was when I was in the middle of my depression and where I am now was impossible to think about.
mm,
I could not in that time think of feeling the way that I feel now. Now, I could not imagine feeling the way that I felt back then.
mm,
And for me, that just shows that over some time, effort, and action, things can change incredibly.
yeah.
And it's
I've never
possible.
heard quite, I've heard it is what it is probably a million times. I've never heard it is what it is until it isn't, which I love that.
Oh, yeah, you can have
Yeah,
that one. You
yeah,
can have that one. It
great.
creases me every time I hear it. Oh, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Oh, you've just given up.
yeah,
Let me show you. Let's have a chat.
yeah. Well, the first thing that popped in my mind, there's a little video or an audio from Steve Chandler where he talked, the distinction he has is between an owner versus a victim.
Yes.
And it's like, it is what it is total victim mentality. You're at the mercy of your circumstances. And
Yeah.
the owner mentality would be the until it isn't part. Like, okay, so this happened. What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
And how am I going to relate to it differently? Or, you know, and it's not even about positive thinking or anything. It's just a recognition that we are creating beings, like we are creating our experience. And um, yeah,
And we've got to take responsibility.
yeah,
That's one of the most powerful things ever is once you take responsibility for your own outcomes. Same thing, you don't
yeah,
don't be a victim of it. Just okay, what's next?
yeah,
Where do we go from here?
yeah, absolutely. Well, I've really enjoyed meeting you, and I've loved this conversation. It's been great. If people want to learn more about what you're doing at Becoming Better or get in touch with you, where's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, um, uh, just under my name, Brian Barley. I am on Facebook and Instagram as well, same name. Um, and yeah, I've got my website, which explains a little bit about how to work with me and what it is that I do, um, and the ways that we can work with each other. So yeah, any of those, I'm always welcome for a message, an email, a text, anything. I'll always respond.
Great, great. Like I said, it's been a pleasure spending this time with you, and I appreciate you volunteering for the opportunity and being here today. So thanks so much.
No, thank you, Greg. Honestly, it's been a great experience. I appreciate it as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
my pleasure. All right, we'll see you again soon.
Take care.